areas. Bimsola Adebayo, BCOS News.
The Interpolis staff reporter Olubumi Lawal examines the likely impact of the proposed taxes on Nigerians.
Nigeria has continued to grapple with fiscal challenges driven by fluctuating oil revenues, rising public expenditure, infrastructure deficits, and increasing demands for social intervention programs. Despite recent tax reforms introduced by the federal government, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) maintains that additional revenue-generating measures may be required to strengthen the nation's fiscal position and support sustainable economic growth. According to the fund, Nigeria's tax-to-GDP ratio remains relatively low compared to that of many developing economies, limiting government's capacity to adequately fund critical sectors such as healthcare, education, infrastructure, and social protection. To address this gap, the IMF proposed the extension of value-added tax, VAT, to fuel products, as well as the introduction of excise duties on telecommunications services. A financial and tax expert, Mr. Eric Joshua, says imposing additional taxes on fuel could trigger higher transportation costs, increase the prices of goods and services, and further worsen inflationary pressures across the country. Similarly, he noted that new levies on telecommunication services could increase the cost of voice calls, internet subscriptions, and other digital services relied upon daily by millions of Nigerians.
Petroleum tax is to be collected on an imported petroleum product like imported diesel, imported kerosene, imported gas, if there is any. But for the local refined petroleum products, is not on it. Why I say it's not for Nigeria economy is that there's no way we will differentiate between the imported petrol and the locally produced or nationally produced petrol in our country. We have the likes of the refinery, Dangote refinery, which is doing its own. Lots of petroleum marketers association refuse to buy from them. They are interested in importing. Their claim is that they don't want the present national refinery to have monopoly of the market. That's why they are importing. The petroleum tax is on those imported products. But when it comes to market, you and I will not know the difference. They will put the same price with it. Even if they collect the product from our national or the local refinery in Nigeria, the normal price of including tax on it, which there's no one want to know either this petrol station gets its own within Nigeria or is from the product that came from international market.
Mr. Joshua therefore advised policymakers to exercise caution, warning that the proposed taxes could further compound the economic hardship currently being experienced by many citizens.
It will have effect no matter any tax introduced. This present government did not introduce any new tax. What they did is that they reduced the present taxation system and present tax rate. That's what they do in Nigeria. The rate we are using before, what they did is that they reduce it and they increase the exemptions for both individual and the small and medium companies. What they do before, we have like a small company, what the previous tax we are using, which we call finance at service. Once your annual income, like let's say 2024, 2023, your annual income is not up to 25 million. You are exempted, which means you are not expected to pay tax. But what the new administration did is they increased that limit from 25 million to 100 million, which means once your yearly sales or total turnover is not up to 100 million naira, you are not expecting to pay tax. You are not expected to collect VAT. Neither are you expecting to pay. Neither are you expected to pay company income tax.
The IMF's recommendation underscores the delicate challenge of balancing revenue generation with the welfare of citizens in Nigeria. While experts acknowledge that the proposed measures could enhance government revenue and support development initiatives, concerns persist over their potential impact on households already struggling with the rising cost of living. Stakeholders are therefore urging policymakers to carefully assess the economic and social implications of the proposals before taking any decision on their implementation. Olubumi Lawal, BCOS News.
It's now time for another timeout. Don't go away.
Wearing many hats takes a lot out of you. You always need all the nourishing goodness you can get. Especially if you're someone like me that is a foodie. The ultimate meal companion. A PhD student. Rich in B vitamins for focus. Yes, we all need it. Because every side of you deserves to be nourished.
Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Shine on.
Welcome back. The Deputy Inspector General of Police, DIG, in charge of Information and Communication Technology, ICT, and the Supervising DIG for the Southwest Geopolitical Zone, DIG Fayode Mustafa Diguki, commenced his official tour of the Southwest Zone on Tuesday in Ibadan, Oyo State. The engagement was held at the Oyo State Police Command Headquarters, Eleyele, Ibadan, and brought together key stakeholders, officers, and men of the command. The visit was aimed at strengthening policing effectiveness, enhancing public confidence, and promoting collaborative security efforts across the state. In his welcome address, the Commissioner of Police, Oyo State Command, CP Abimbola Ayodeji Olugbemiga, described the visit as timely and significant, noting that it would help assess the state security architecture and reinforce the partnership between the police and the public in ensuring the safety of lives and property. Speaking during the interaction, DIG Diguki expressed satisfaction with the operational commitment and the discipline of officers in the command. He urged members of the public to continue supporting the police with credible information to aid crime, prevention, and detection, stressing that security remains a collective responsibility. The DIG explained that the tour was undertaken on the directive of the Inspector General of Police as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen policing operations in the Southwest. He charged officers to remain professional, uphold the rule of law, avoid corruption, and intensify operational activities through strategic deployment of personnel and resources to areas of concern. The Oyo State Governor, Engineer TRHE Makinde, has pledged to make any sacrifice possible and explore any option reasonable to rescue the abducted pupils and teachers recently kidnapped at Orire local government area, Ogbomosho. The governor stated this on Tuesday while addressing a group of protesters led by an activist and social commentator, Martins Vincent Otse, also known as Very Dark Man VDM, at his Ikolaba private residence. Governor's Office correspondent Olalekun Sulaiman presents the details.
A group of protesters led by activist and social commentator Martins Vincent Otse, popularly known as Very Dark Man VDM, visited the private Ikolaba residence of Oyo State Governor, Engineer TRHE Makinde. The protesters converged on the governor's residence to express their concerns and demand urgent action over the abduction of teachers and students in Orire local government area of the state. Responding to the concerns raised by the protesters over the abduction of the students and teachers in Orire, Oyo State Governor Engineer TRHE Makinde stated that security architecture currently deployed for the rescue operation is capable of securing the safe release of the victims with minimal casualties. Governor Makinde disclosed that based on available intelligence, no additional casualty has been recorded among the abductees following the killing of the mathematics teacher.
If government didn't start negotiating with bandits. It means we're surrendering sovereignty to the bandits. But in this special situation, we want those children alive. We have to bend backwards. Once the children are out, I give you the assurance that they will not occur again.
Speaking on behalf of the protesters, activist and social commentator Very Dark Man expressed concern over the fate of the abducted students and teachers in Orire local government. He said the group was prepared to support security agencies in efforts to rescue the victims, stressing that residents have become increasingly worried due to the lack of information on the condition of the children. He therefore called on the state government to always provide clear information on the ongoing rescue effort and the plans being put in place to secure the safe return of the abducted students and teachers. Olalekan Sulaiman, BCOS News.
The Oyo State government has demolished a residential property allegedly used for storing a large cache of arms and ammunition as part of ongoing efforts to combat crime and curb kidnapping across the state. The property, comprising of a story building and 2 bungalows with a fenced compound, is located at the Benko area of Olodo Garage in Ibadan. Governor's Office correspondent Olalekan Sulaiman gives the details.
The property, located in Benku community along the Arubiewe Road, Olodo Ibadan, was pulled down and monitored by officials of Ministry of Public Works and Transportation, led by the Commissioner, Honorable Majid Mugbonjubola. Security was also provided by officers and men of the Nigeria Police Force, who monitored the exercise to ensure order throughout the demolition of the suspected criminal hideout. Addressing journalists, Honorable Mugbonjubola disclosed that security agencies uncovered the alleged cache of weapons during an investigation. According to the Commissioner, the demolition followed a directive by Governor TRHE Makinde in line with the administration's commitment to tackling insecurity and criminal activities in Oyo State.
We just discovered this place again. It's a big hideout for arms and ammunition, heavy ones. There's been investigation on it. The CP, Commissioner of Police, given a report to His Excellency on the whole process. And instruction came that we should demolish, and that's what we're doing right now. And like I always said, what we're saying right now is like telling the whole world that this is a big deterrent for, these people that are doing evil in Oyo State, that His Excellency won't tolerate all these inadequacies and these bad eggs in the state.
Honorable Mugbonjubola urged residents to remain vigilant and promptly report suspicious activities within their communities. He also advised landlords and property agents to carry out proper background check on prospective tenants before leasing their properties. Olalekan Sulaiman, BCOS News.
Oyo State Governor Engineer TRHE Makinde on Tuesday hosted an European Union delegation led by the European Union Ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS Ambassador Gautier Mignot at his private residence in Ibadan. The meeting, which centered on collaboration between Oyo State and the EU in agricultural development, education, and the fight against gender-based violence, was attended by the head of section for human development at the European Union in Nigeria, Professor Leila Matthew. Others in attendance include the governor's advisor on agribusiness and international cooperation, Debo Akonde, and the executive assistant on administration, Reverend Idowu Ogedengbe. The governor later held a private session with Ambassador Mignot, addressing journalists after the meeting. Mignot, who noted that it was his first visit to the state, said the parties discussed agricultural development and climate change at length with a view to strengthening Oyo State's position as a major food producing state in the country. Technical competence alone is not sufficient for career success. Leadership ability, value creation, and effective resource management are equally essential. Former Oyo State Commissioner for Environment and former Director General of the Oyo State Mineral Development, Mrs. Abiodun, stated this while featuring on BCOS television flagship program, Guest of the Month. Our reporter, Olamide Owulabi, reports.
Flagship program, Guest of the Month, featured former Commissioner for Environment and former Director General of the Oyo State Mineral Development Agency, OISMIDA, Mr. Abiodun, who shared his perspectives on solid minerals development, environmental management, the economy, and politics. Reflecting on his personal and professional journey, Mr. Oni disclosed that although he initially aspired to study pharmacy, he eventually pursued a degree in geology. He described his career path as rewarding and emphasized the success in the workplace requires more than academic excellence, noting that strong interpersonal relationships, leadership qualities, and the ability to create value are critical factors for professional growth. Mr. Oni also reviewed that the greater part of his professional experience has been in oil and gas industry rather than the solid mineral sector.
All the exposures I've had, I have seen that no matter how much you are good with your technicality, your technical experience, you still have to work with people. You know, you have to be disciplined with what you're doing operationally. Like in the oil and gas, safety is very, very important. It is key. You know, then after safety, you have to work with people. You know, teamwork is very important. Then it now gets you to now having a defined philosophy, like I always said, and those I have gathered from all the places I have worked with. Leadership quality is important, you know, and because when you're thinking about your leadership quality, you think about how you lead people, your vision and mission, you know. Then after your leadership quality, you think about what else can I do and make sure you don't have operational wastage.
Speaking on mineral development, Mr. Oni said the administration of Governor Seyi Makinde would be remembered for its contributions to the growth and development of the solid mineral sector in Oyo State. On the issue of insecurity, he stressed the need for government and security agencies to identify and bring to justice individuals sponsoring criminal activities across the country. Speaking on his aspiration to represent Irekpo of Elokwe and Oloshogo Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Mr. Oni said his ambition is driven by desire to provide quality representation and attract more developmental projects to the constituency.
Why do you want to contest to do anything for your people? It's because for me, I identify the gaps, that places, that things that you should do to bring the dividends of democracy to the people. And security has stepped up a whole lot of in our area. So when I get there by God's grace, we're going to be having a good conversation and deliverables on mining, agriculture, and insecurity.
Mr. Oni also sympathized with the people of Orive local government over the recent abduction incident in the area, expressing hope that ongoing efforts by the government and security agencies will lead to safe release of the victims. Olamide Owulabi, BCOS News.
We shall now take a short commercial break. Please stay tuned.
Oh, remember how mom used to wake up before everybody to make breakfast, iron her uniform? Let's surprise that woman with something special.
Treasure Mom this 2026 with a trip to Zanzibar in the 3 Crowns Mom of the Year competition. Write a note using each letter in your mom's name and upload with a photo of 5,000 Naira worth of 3 Crowns products on our website or at any of our collection centers. T's and C's apply. 3 Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, enriched with 95% pure vitamin C and pulp extract. For visibly radiant and even-toned skin in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, for your shade of beautiful.
Confidence is important in life's little moments. Strong teeth can help, even if they get her into trouble sometimes. A great smile is useful to break the ice, and making friends is easier when you know you have fresh breath. I give my family confidence with Pepsodent Triple Protection 123. Its antibacterial action formula gives them cavity protection, white teeth, and fresh breath. Get whiter teeth with the new Pepsodent Natural Charcoal Toothpaste.
The joys of life are found in moments that makes us wonder, then fill our hearts with laughter. Moments we risk it all for a craving, but the reward makes it all worth it. Moments when you remind everyone of your greatness. Moments when you feel like you need a hero, then you realize you're the hero you've always needed.
Collect 10 unique moments and win big in the My Indomie Moments promo.
Welcome back. The Islamic cleric in Ogbomoso, Imam Abiblai Ayilara, has pointed out that death is inevitable for all mortals. He said this during the burial program for the TRHE Muslimi of Ogbomoso land, Alhaji Abdulgani Atanda Owoduni, held at Okeafin residence of the deceased. BCOS correspondent in Ogbomoso, Aderemi Akomu, was at the venue of the burial program. His report is presented by staff reporter Bimbo Akombi.
The Okeafin residents of TRHE Muslimi of Ogbomoso land, Alhaji Abdulgani Atanda Owoduni, has been playing host to Islamic clerics, royal fathers, politicians and other important personalities who are commiserating with the family over the death of the great Islamic cleric. Alhaji Abdulgani Owoduni was turbaned as the second TRHE Muslimi of Ogbomoso land by the late Shon of Ogbomoso land, Oba Oladuni Oyewumi Ajagungbade III. The late TRHE died on Saturday in Lagos at the age of 74 during a brief illness. After the janaza prayers led by Imam Abiblai Tijani Ayilara at the Old Eid General Ilia Ogbomoso, his remains were laid to rest according to Islamic rites at his residence Okeafin Ogbomoso. Continuing his sermon, Imam Abiblai charged everyone to prepare for death anytime because it gives no notice and it is an inevitable end for all. The Islamic cleric described late TRHE Muslimi of Ogbomoso land as a man who served Allah and was committed to the propagation of Islam and beyond, and reminded all living souls that everyone is expected to give account of his stewardship, calling on them to serve their creature with their wealth and clean mind. In their various admonitions, Basharun Muslimi of Ogbomoso land, Alhaji Shitu Salumi, Barakoyi of Ogbomoso land, Alhaji Surajuddin Alim, Areago of Ogbomoso, High Chief Shobalaje Otoluni, and Senator Abdul Fatai Buhari said late Owoduni, whose death is a colossal loss, contributed immensely to the development of Ogbomoso as a whole, adding that he had left a great vacuum.
ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn ní sásá bẹ́ẹ̀ etí a sì kọjú sí nǹkan lá ló sí wá.
Everybody is reacting. You see the situation in our hometown. The good man is gone. There are times you even question that why are all good people leaving?
àsámọ̀ pé agbàfọ́ lọ torí pé bí irú nǹkan báyìí bá ti ṣẹlẹ̀ a ti mọ̀ wípé ọlọ́run ọba ọwọ́ rẹ̀ náà ni gbogbo wa wà.
The burial program was attended by Islamic clerics, royal fathers, relatives, and some eminent personalities. The late TRHE Muslimi of Ogbomoso land is survived by wives, siblings, children, and grandchildren.
We now move over to the sports decks.
Good evening and welcome. I am Victor Pone, here to take you around the ever-exciting world of sports.
We start in tennis with the news that Serena Williams and Venus Williams have received a wild card for the Wimbledon women's doubles. None of the sisters features on the list of singles wildcards, although there is one remaining spot still to be given. 44-year-old Williams made a comeback at Queen's last week, 4 years after playing what many expected to be the final match of her career at the 2022 US Open. The 23-time Grand Slam singles champion, whose tally in that count includes 7 Wimbledon titles, is playing doubles in Berlin this week with Karolina Muchova and will continue her comeback on the Grand Slam stage alongside Venus at the All England Club. And now to football at the World Cup, where Tunisia have sacked head coach Sabri Lamouchi following the side's defeat in their opening World Cup 2026 fixture. Sweden inflicted a 5-1 loss on Tunisia in Sunday's Group F tie at the Estadio Monterrey in Guadalupe, Mexico. Reports afterwards suggested Lamouchi had been immediately sacked, but sources later told reporters that the 54-year-old took training on Monday. However, the Tunisian Football Association has now confirmed that the Frenchman's contract has been terminated by mutual agreement. Former Morocco and Saudi Arabia manager Hervé Renard has been appointed head coach of the side until the end of the tournament. Lamouchi's departure means he is the first manager in World Cup history to be sacked after just one game. I'll wrap up with the news that former Wolves and Nottingham Forest striker Raphael Maher has been sentenced to 8.5 years in prison after he was found guilty of sexual assault. The 28-year-old Maher and his friend Pablo Yara were both arrested in September 2024 after 2 women accused them of sexual assault at Maher's home. Maher's lawyer said at the time that the intercourse was consensual and that Maher categorically denied the accusations. In a statement released, a Valencia court said Mr. Maher sexually assaulted one of the women in the swimming pool and in a bathroom at his house in Betera after he and Jara met the woman at a nightclub in Valencia. Maher was playing at Valencia on loan from Sevilla at the time of his arrest. The former Spain under-23 striker received a 7-year prison sentence for sexual assault and a 1-year and 6-month sentence for assault causing bodily harm. Maher, who was also ordered to pay €64,000 as compensation for the victim, can appeal the sentence.
And that's your sport update on news around the world. I am Victor Pune. Thanks for watching.
On the foreign scene, a United States Air Force B-52 Fortress has crashed into the California desert, killing all 8 people on board. Foreign Desk editor Folashade Akintola compiled the story and others as presented by Bimbo Akombi.
Jet-powered aircraft built to carry a wide array of nuclear and conventional bombs was on a routine test mission when it crashed on the runway at Edwards just after leaving the ground, Air Force Colonel James Hayes said at a press conference hours later. A towering pall of black smoke billowing from the crash site was visible for miles immediately after the accident. He said the mixed crew aboard the aircraft consisted of government civilians, government contractors, and uniformed military personnel. Aerospace giant Boeing opens new tab, which designed and built the plane, said 2 of its employees who were among the dead. He said the mixed crew aboard the aircraft consisted of government civilians, government contractors, and uniformed military personnel. The flight was intended to support a radar modernization program, Hayes told reporters. The cause of the crash was unknown and under investigation, he added. Air Force officials did not name the victims, saying they were still in the process of notifying their next of kin. Aerial video footage of the crash scene about 100 miles, that is about 161 kilometers, north of Los Angeles, showed a charred, smoldering patch of the desert floor, larger than a football field, as an emergency vehicle was seen driving along the site's perimeter. A magnitude 6.3 earthquake hit the northwestern Chinese province of Qinghai on Tuesday, killing at least 1 person and injuring 4 others, state media reported, citing emergency authorities. The quake struck a high-altitude area in the prefecture of Hexi in Qinghai with a depth of 10 kilometers at 5:06 p.m. on Tuesday, the China Earthquake Network Center said. State media said all workers at coal mines near the epicenter have been evacuated and authorities are still assessing casualties and property damage. Earlier, state agency Xinhua reported that rescue teams were rushing to the site to search for people trapped and were assessing risks of secondary disasters. China's earthquake administration has activated emergency response for the Temblor, which was followed by several aftershocks, including one measured at a magnitude of 4.9. And finally, a Ukrainian drone sparked a fire and damaged a facility at Moscow region's largest refinery on Tuesday. An oil producer, TRHE, announced nationwide fuel purchase caps, signs of the widening impact of Kiev's campaign to target Russian energy infrastructure. Seeking to eat a key source of Russia's war funds, Ukraine's attacks on refineries have doubled since the start of 2026, leading to full or partial shutdowns of oil processing and a decline in gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel output, according to official data, social media, and Reuters calculations. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the Gazprom Neft refinery opens new tab was hit from a distance of 500 kilometers, that is about 311 miles, illustrating the reach of Ukraine's long-range strikes. Local emergency services said the fire at the refinery had been put out and had not affected operations. Earlier, Moscow's mayor, Sergei Sobyanin, said a facility at the site had been damaged without giving further details. The plant, which has been targeted multiple times, processed 11.6 million tons of oil in 2024, producing 2.9 million tons of petrol and 3.2 million tons of diesel, according to the latest available data. Bimbo Akambi, BCOS News.
To end the news around the world, here again are the main points. President Bola Tinubu has extended greetings to Muslims in Nigeria and across the world on the occasion of the Islamic New Year, 1st Muharram 1448 AH, urging citizens to embrace patriotism and good citizenship. The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has pledged to make any sacrifice possible and explore any option reasonable to rescue the adopted pupils and teachers recently kidnapped at Orire local government area of Bomosho. And on the foreign scene, a United States Air Force B-52 Stratofortress has crashed into the California desert, killing all 8 people on board. BCOS TV is now on Niger TV app, and you can watch us from any part of the world. You can also reach us on GoTV channel 134 and channel 113 on StarTimes. Now, before I go, don't join hoodlums in threatening the peaceful coexistence of the country. It is only in an atmosphere of peace that development thrives. And that's the end of the news around the world. Thank you for watching.